Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a lifted Ford Raptor, and we're basically gonna answer the question in today's video of, should you lift your Raptor? But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Raptor. Check out their inventory link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the Raptor, we have a twin turbo 3.5 liter V6. It goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 18 on the highway, with power outputs being 450 horsepower and then 510 pound-feet of torque. And to my knowledge, this truck is all stock under the hood. Now let's go over the front end of this Raptor. So first off, we've got really cool venting there at the top portion, and then you've got all the marker lights here in the center with the orange LED lights, and then you've got the marker light there on the side. And then it looks like the previous owner did add the fog light kit for this Raptor. And then notice that you've got like the metallic gray for the bumper here, and then on the grille, as well as another kind of like distinct feature of the Raptor, got the tow hooks there at the bottom with the skid plate. And then since this truck is a 2018, you've got the blue shocks. If the truck's a 19 or a 20, then it would have the orange shocks. But other than that, there's your full front view on the Raptor. Now coming on the side here, we've got 325mm tires wrapped on 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. You can see they fit fine because this truck has a 4-inch lift. So here's kind of like a look at the front end of this particular Raptor, and you guys can see just how aggressive those tires are. Now from a stance perspective, I think the lift definitely looks really good on the Raptor, makes it like gigantic, and I think it gives it like a really nice stance overall. And it looks like the previous owner did choose to do a little bit of a negative offset. It's nothing too crazy, it just like slightly pokes out a little bit more there in the rear, but I think that also kind of helps with the overall aesthetic of this particular Raptor. Fords. I'm just joking, it was the tonneau cover that caught it. So yes, this truck does come with a tonneau cover. It's got a bed liner as well. No bed step though, interestingly enough. But yeah, things are pretty simple. Payload capacity is about 1,088 pounds. And in terms of the actual tailgate itself, still pretty heavy, even though it doesn't have the bed step. And then before we go over the rest of the rear, I do want to mention the shocks here in the back. So again, you guys can kind of see the shocks that this comes with since it's a 2018, and then the rest of the stuff with the lift back there. But going over the rest of the rear now of this Raptor, it's just like any other Raptor. So you got the stock exhaust on this truck, full LED lights, you got the giant Ford logo, and yeah, that's the back of this lifted Raptor. Now let's go over the door panel here in the rear. So first off, this truck just has kind of like the basic trim here in the center, not the carbon fiber. And then this one does have the full leather seats, the black ones that you can get with the truck. So you got nice perforated leather there on the center, and the seats are actually really comfortable. But the thing that's not exactly comfortable is getting in the truck. So like I do have to grab the grab handle, and it's kind of, I mean, it's not horrible getting in, but like this truck desperately needs like power side steps or off-road, like some sort of steps basically. But you guys can see legroom's good once you're actually back here. A couple cup holders, and then you get your heated seats, you got all of your power outlets, all that kind of stuff. And then this pulls down to be some more cup holders. You just have to press that little thing. Wait for it. Okay. That pops out. You guys know what I'm talking about, but that's the back of the Raptor. Now let's go over the door panel here in the front. So again, you've got the nice leather here. You're going to rest your arm, and then the black trim right there. All of your window controls, and then your mirror adjustments. This does come with memory seats. And then here are the seats at the front, which I'm not sure why the seat belt's on. But it says the Raptor logo right there at the top. Nice perforated leather there all the way down. And then you got the nice bolsters as well. The seats are fully power adjustable. And then there are the pedals at the bottom. You do have your pedal adjustment. And then you got the light controls just up above with the cargo light. You've got the lights outside either mirror, and then other than that, the steering wheel is automatically adjustable. And there's one more look before we pop in. Now here's the steering wheel in the Raptor. So you've got soft touch leather at the top and at the bottom with nice perforated leather here on the side, and then you've got a little racing marker there at the very top. Got your volume and voice command controls, and then this is for the drive mode select, your steering mode select, your phone controls, cruise control on the other side, and then the controls for the center stack. And then you do get the nice paddles there on the back of the steering wheel. You got your little stalk there for the windshield wiper and turn signal situation, and that's all for the steering wheel. So we've got the center gauge cluster here on the Raptor. So you've got analog gauges on either side, and then you do have that little center screen, which Ford hasn't changed for well, it didn't change for pretty much this entire generation. Pretty good screen, just gives you different bits of vehicle information. And then this is where the steering modes and drive modes pop up. So you've got the sport, comfort, and normal for the steering. And then as for the drive modes, you've got the normal, sport, weather, mud, sand, Baja, and then the rock crawl here with the Raptor. And well, that's all for the center stack. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, you've got your hill descent control and your stability control at the top, the hazard lights, and then this is for the camera to pop that on or off. The one complaint I have about the Raptor camera is the first gens, when you had the front camera, it had like the little tire lines. The second gens, they don't have that, which I think was kind of like a weird oversight by Ford. I'm not sure why. Well, I'm just not sure why it doesn't have it. And then when you pop it into reverse, this is the camera that pops up with it. You do have the zoom function there on the receiver hitch if you ever do hook up to a trailer. And then for the infotainment system, this is Ford's kind of like older version of their infotainment system. Sorry about the glare there on the screen. It's kind of horrible today. And it's a dark screen, so it doesn't help out. Response time's pretty good. You do get Apple CarPlay, which is nice. It's got nice functions on it. It's not as nice as Ford's new infotainment system, but like it gets the job done. Now I've got a bunch of controls here in this little area right here. You've got your drive line select, so you've got your two-wheel high, your four-wheel auto, your four-wheel high, and then your four-wheel low. Then you got the locker. You've got the controls there for the radio, and then down below you've got the controls for the climate system. This does have a dual zone climate system, heated and cooled seats, and then you get your full power outlet under that little situation. And then just down below you've got a trailer backup system, and then the trailer brake controls are down below that. And then if you open this up, this is just some extra storage space with a couple of USBs, and then you press it again, covers it all up. Here is the shifter in the Raptor. You've got the plus and minus for the gears there, and then the M is for the manual mode. A couple of cup holders right here in this area, and then we've got the keys. Like, whoever traded this in had a lot of spare keys. I'm not exactly sure why, but like, if you want to buy a Raptor that has like a million spare keys, then this one has it. Anyways, got the center console here, which storage space is really good with that. Nice leather here on the top. And then coming over to the glove box, pretty normal glove box. And yeah, that's all for that. Now here at the top, we do have all of the auxiliary switches. So you've got 6, so you can add 6 auxiliary items, which is pretty nice. We do have the power sliding window there for the rear. Panoramic sunroof here at the top, the control center for just right there. Universal garage door openers, and that's all for the top. Now that we're done going over the interior on this lifted Raptor, let's quickly get into the pricing. So the pricing on Gen 2 Raptors has been all over the place. It was kind of like in steady decline for a while, but then as soon as production stopped, the values have kind of like shot up just a little bit. Most of the Raptors, depending on mileage, are usually in the 50s to 60s. Some of them are still up into the 70s as well, which is pretty crazy, but the value is there right now until the Gen 3 hits the ground. Then I'm sure the values will go down again. That all being said though, let's take this lifted Gen 2 Raptor out and see how she drives. Let's talk about visibility in this lifted Raptor before we set off. So first off, visibility of the hood is just like any other Raptor. It's just higher up off the ground. And then there's your visibility through both of the mirrors, and they do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear. So, I mean, visibility is really unchanged. It's just that you're higher off the ground. And that all being said, let's set off. We are setting off here in this lifted Raptor, and first off I want to mention kind of like the around the parking lot maneuverability. It's actually not too bad compared to a stock Raptor. The negative offset does kind of get in the way just slightly in terms, because I mean the Raptor's already a wide truck and it kind of makes it a little bit wider, but other than that it doesn't feel too weird. And then I mean turning here, it's actually feels relatively normal. You definitely do feel that this is higher up off the ground. Now from a road noise perspective, you definitely do hear more tire noise than a stock Raptor, but I mean, that's pretty typical. Whenever you do off-road tires with 20-inch wheels, they're always really noisy. It's the 17s and the 18s that actually do pretty well from a noise perspective, because you have so much tire that it kind of like really just dulls the noise. And then in terms of the ride quality, it feels a little bit rougher than a stock Raptor. Definitely, you do feel a little bit more happening here with the lift, which again, that's kind of another thing with lifted vehicles, is they do ride a little bit rougher. I actually want to pop it over into the sport mode and kind of see how that feels with this. And obviously we'll get acceleration in a little bit. And then also we'll see the braking up here. Let's see kind of how that feels. I don't really perceive a difference in the braking. This feels pretty much like a stock Raptor from a braking perspective, which makes sense because, I mean, the lift really isn't going to add all that much weight to the truck, so really shouldn't change the braking performance with the truck. Now, this is the portion where we'll get our little like minor acceleration, so we'll just be kind of like partial throttle here. Yeah, pretty good. Now we're going to pop it over into the manual mode. Pretty good with the gear shifts as well here in the manual mode. Yeah, braking, I mean, the braking really doesn't, it just doesn't feel different. It feels pretty much the same, and it looks like we've got a clearing here to get our full-blown acceleration with this Raptor that's lifted. That was kind of weird. So I didn't even get all the way up to redline, and it cuts power. This one cut power right before redline. I don't know if that's a thing with the 17s and the 18s. I mean, you guys can let me know in the comment section below, but that was definitely kind of weird. Like, I'll downshift a couple more times. Didn't do it that time. That was definitely kind of strange. But from an acceleration standpoint, it does feel slower. You can definitely perceive a difference. I mean, this is coming from someone who owned a Raptor for just over a year, and I can definitely feel the difference in acceleration. And let's see the handling. We're kind of going to go around this corner a little bit quicker. Yeah, way more body roll. Definitely a lot more body roll. I mean, I own a TRX now, and this drives worse than the TRX from like a body roll perspective, and like it feels like the turn-in's worse than the TRX. So that kind of gives you an idea. Like, a stock Raptor has the best turn-in, the TRX is in the middle, and then this kind of has the worst turn-in from a steering perspective. And let's answer the question of today's video. Should you lift your Raptor? From my honest opinion, I'm gonna say no. Okay, here's the deal. If you are not gonna take it off-road and you just want the truck to look really cool, then yes, lift your Raptor. Daily drivability really isn't gonna be hurt that much. But if you're actually gonna off-road this truck, I don't think it's the best idea. It rides rougher, the body rolls a lot more, it's not as controllable. I mean, Ford spent so much money into figuring this suspension out, and it kind of ruins that suspension a little bit, and it ruins the drivability of the truck. So like, that's what I have to say is, if you're gonna take this off-road, don't lift it. If you're gonna just have this as a mommy mall crawler, which a lot of people that own Raptors do that, then go ahead, lift it. It'll look cool, and you know, you'll probably get some ladies, who knows. Now, that is gonna sum things up for our video on this Gen 2 Raptor that has been lifted. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Raptor. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.